Awami League leader Asadujaman won the Maghura II seat in the 1991 5th parliamentary election. His death in 1993 left the seat vacant. Asadujaman's son Shafiquজ্জামান Bachchu was the candidate of Awami League in the by-election held on March 20, 1994. Kaji Salimul Haq Kamal alias Ikono Kamal was the BNP candidate. In that election, vote fraud exceeded all levels in history. BNP leaders entered the field with a slogan that if there is one bike, three guns, it is possible to win the election. The then Chief Election Commissioner, Justice Abdul Rauf, was forced to return when he went there to observe the by-election. On March 21, Awami League President and then opposition leader Sheikh Hasina announced the restoration of democracy and people's right to vote from Maghura, and then began a non-stop movement demanding a caretaker government. The Jamaat-backed BNP government did not pay heed to it even in the face of the strong movement of all the opposition political parties. Instead, on February 15, 1996, a one-sided parliamentary election was held in the country. As opposition political parties continued their movement, the government stepped down after passing a caretaker government bill in parliament. After winning the election in 1996 under the caretaker government of Justice Habibur Rahman, Bangladesh Awami League came to power after 21 years. After 5 years, they peacefully handed over power to the caretaker government of Justice Latifur Rahman. Latifur Rahman became the chief advisor and right away transferred 13 secretaries. After a rally at Shere-Bangla-Nagar, Sheikh Hasina went to the Ganabhavan to find that the telephone line there had been cut off, even though no other advisor were appointed other than the chief advisor. It's the year 2001. The BNP Jamaat coalition government was in power. At the end of its term, an ill initiative to amend the constitution began. The number of reserved women's seats was increased from 30 to 45. The retirement age of judges was raised from 65 to 67. On May 16, 2004, the Law Minister Barrister Maudud Ahmed introduced the Constitution Amendment Bill in Parliament. Why the amendment to the Constitution on a simple matter was needed? Questions started to arise in the public mind. According to the provision of the caretaker government, the last retired Chief Justice will be the head of the caretaker government. Complaints were raised that the retirement age of judges was increased only to appoint a person of BNP's choice as the head of the caretaker government. In June 2003, K.M. Hassan was appointed as Chief Justice. He was made the 13th Chief Justice of the country in violation of seniority. K.M. Hassan was once the International Affairs Secretary of BNP. This made it clear that the main purpose of raising the retirement age of judges so that K.M. Hassan can head the caretaker government as soon as he retires. Meanwhile, the BNP Jamaat coalition government made 1.5 crore fake voters in the new voter list and made the controversial Justice M.A. Aziz the Chief Election Commissioner. Awami League, the opposition party in the parliament, launched a movement against these illicit activities. BNP was moving ahead according to its blueprint. At one stage, K.M. Hassan refused to take charge of the caretaker government. At the end of October 2006, in the face of the strong movement, a new debate began. According to the Constitution, if the newly retired Chief Justice does not take over, the previous retired judge must be invited. There were also 4 options in the constitutions. By passing all this, along with the head of state, Professor Yajuddin Ahmed was made the chief advisor of the caretaker government. After his takeover, various questions started to arise about the Yajuddin's activities. Then, 4 advisors to the caretaker government resigned, creating a new crisis. Ignoring everything, Yajuddin proceeded towards the election. President Yajuddin Ahmed was forced to resign as a chief advisor on January 11, 2007, when the political crisis reached its peak. A state of emergency was imposed. The then Army Chief Moinu Ahmed appeared on the scene. Another caretaker government was formed with military intervention. A former governor of the Bangladesh Bank, Fakhruddin Ahmed, was appointed as the chief advisor. Fakhruddin's military-backed caretaker government, who took office for 3 months, remained in power for nearly 2 years and continued depoliticization in the country. Various conspiracies to minus the 2 leaders. Awami League President Sheikh Hasina was first sent to jail, filing a corruption case against her. Then BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia was sent to jail. The Awami League-led Grand Alliance came to power in the December 29, 2008 election. A writ was filed with the High Court seeking annulment of the caretaker government. A 3-member bench of the High Court ruled in favor of the caretaker government. But on May 10, 2011, the Appellate Division ruled that the 13th Amendment's provision of caretaker government was unconstitutional. However, the observation of the judgment advocated not to involve the judiciary in such arrangements. In the light of judgment, the unelected caretaker government system was abolished through the 15th Amendment. Analysts say that the BNP had initially opposed the caretaker system to stay in power. Later, the party attempted to prolong its power through manipulation. Mahad Islam Dhruvo, Somoy সংবাদ, ঢাকা।